Chinua Achebe. Right Wole Soyinka from the great beyond. This is coming from Rudolph Okonkwo. Rarely do I feel like interfering in the affairs of men in your place of abode, but I have been itching to write you since July of 2013, when you tactically referred to Patience Jonathan, the wife of President Jonathan, as a hippopotamus. I cringed as your admirers cheered you to the high heavens, including that renegade called Dr. Damages. I was new here and could not even figure out how to message you. Let me start by saying that your friends Christopher Hukigbo and Emmanuel Ifajuna finally figured out the hack I am using to send this message to you. Those two are the likes of Olumuyiwa Awe, Nathaniel Oye, Lola, and Fela Ransom Kuti. All thrive here with little or no opportunities for mischief. They said I should tell you that they are glad to see that you are still wagging fingers, ruffling feathers, and, as young people of today say, bustling balls. For those of us who were with you in the 50s and 60s, we understand you and the argue messing with your head. Your adoration for a third force in every war is not something we expect you to abandon as this late stage in the game of life. Having said that, I write to say, Nwayo Aka your softly, my brother. I can see that you are having minor problems understanding the young ones. I could help you out. I have been here for over a decade now. As an ancestor in excellent standing, I can tell you without any doubt that the great beyond is not what you imagine to be. Forget what the colonists force fed us. Our ancestors were right all along that knowledge will influence how you live your life, and on that side of the divide, you know that the Igbo people say that when a young man leaves his father, the old man's loincloth will cover his eyes. In the same breath, the Igbo recognize that if a deity misbehaves, its worshippers will go into the forest and show the deity the tree used to carve it. You are wonderful, or a wonderful poet, my dear Ugbuefi of African literature. However, our forefathers' proverbs have more wisdom than all the poems even written by members of the Dead Poets Society. It is evident that elders should not watch a tethered she-goat give birth. Mbano, Ero. The children may appear distracted, but they know when a snake stops acting like one. That is when they use the snake to play, and as they go home, they use it to tie their gathered firewood. Our people know when a handshake passes the elbow. Do you know that baskets our fathers say people put on faces to tell the truth to kings who have gone astray? In this stage, that basket is called the internet. It grants people who otherwise cannot untie big men's shoes the anonymity they sometimes need to speak truth to power. It does something else. It eliminates the gap between the mighty and the low, the rulers and the rude, the gods and the worshippers. More importantly, it shrinks distance with that. It reduces the time between the birth of an opinion and its delivery to the intended target. It vanquishes not just gatekeepers but also the entitlement that bestow on the privileged few. Flaws of unfairness and equality have eroded natural filters in people who have suffered discrimination, disillusionment, and decades of dehumanization. With the cancellation of delayed gratification, what is available now is pure fornication of opinions. In a situation like this, what should a white man do? He will rush to death and king's house. Horsemen, remember, the elephant trace no tethering rope. That king is not yet crowned, who will peg an elephant? Likewise, that laureate is not yet born, who will gag social media and hold the information superhighway up at gunpoint. Social media is not a radio station in Ibadan. There's an essential expression that our people propound for peaceful coexistence. It is called Enita Agbara, observe and ignore. It is why fire ignores the pot and cooks what is inside it. Our forefathers warned that curiosity and the desire to see the response to everything is why bullets hit the monkey on the head. I don't even need to remind you of your pirate confraternity motto. When you stop to uphold the dignity, the direction your hands face will betray you. When the words out of your mouth stop gearing towards maintaining a just and progressive society, shun on this of discrimination and unmeritorious considerations. Even those who attended night schools will smell it, as we have seen recently. The only way to drain the swamp is to start draining from the swamp, not from the scourge of a hyacinth in the water inside a nearby pothole. Ogun, your kindred spirits must have told you to be Ogun, your kindred spirits must have told you to be mindful of your perchance for confrontation in the evening hour. Your strong-headedness won't let you remember that the sleep that lasts for more than Ofu Izu native week is death. There are no buttocks you will examine without finding poop in them. All dogs eat feces, but it is the one that has feces on its nose that is called the feces eating dog. Brother Wole, today's world differs from the one you and I grew up in. But I can tell you that simultaneously the world came among about due to the life we, the people you called the wasted generation, lived. To understand this new phenomenon, you must abandon the old ways of the 1960s and 70s and adapt to the new world. More brilliant scholars have famously observed that most people cannot tell what a poem is, but they know one when they see it. It is the same thing with moral fortitude. They can read from a distance a poet compromised by his entanglement or buried fears, and nothing gives joy to the generation like being the first to call out poets who drowned in the inkpots, pastors who pooped on the pulpit, and philosophers who choked on their borrowed words. I don't envy you. I am glad I am not there to use old weapons to battle a new generation with new propensities. All that I can say to you is the same thing Ezundu told Okonkwo about Ike Mefuna. Do not have a hand in the beatification of that area boy in Aso Rock. Some say you are involved already, but it is still money on creation day. You can still remove the monkey's hand from the pot before it becomes a human hand. You can go out fighting to adapt a fast-changing world to your caprices or adapt yourself to a fast-expanding universe. The choice is yours. As an Anglican church choir member in your youth, you are familiar with the core message of Don Moen's hymn, Trust and Obey. It is not too late to expect you to trust and that the new generation will find their mission and obey their new rules of engagement. There is no other way to be happy living with today's generation but to trust and obey. If you cannot trust and obey, remember Newton's third law of motion, which says that actions and reactions are equal or an opposite. The law applied to your third force during the 1967 to 1970 Nigeria Biafra War. It also applies to today's Indomie Pen Wars. As you noticed in your Nobel Prize acceptance speech, the past must address its present. The present also has a responsibility to purify its future. Talking about the future, Wole, my brother, happy 90th birthday. I hope you do not even use the last part of your life to destroy the first. Okay? A word said not for the wise. So guys, let's know what you think and about this and have a take in the comment section.